76 times so far through 7 games, which is the most in the NFL. I'm wondering if the off-season work that you did, adding the muscle, do you feel like that has helped you stay fresh through the season? And now that you've played 7 games kind of at that weight, is that sort of where you want to be moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it – I know it hasn't hurt me. I do feel that it's can help, taking the hits and everything and, recovering Mondays and Tuesdays. I definitely feel better and can tell a difference. So I'm thankful for the offseason that I had and that I was able to, really devote myself more fully with no injuries like I've had in the past for sure.
We'll go to John and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Carson. A lot of familiar names on that Dallas defense, but they haven't been as successful as they would like, obviously. What have you seen from them, and what do you envision being sort of the first part that you have to do and accomplish against them?
Yeah, I mean, they're still a good defense. They still have good players. They still play fast. They mix it up quite a bit, and I think sometimes you've seen early in the year is some big plays or different things happen against them because maybe they're out of alignment or different things. So you got to be ready if you catch them or you do some different motions and different things to kind of mess with their alignments and assignments. You can catch them in different things. But I got a lot of respect for them. They still got good players. We know what defensive ends they have. We know their linebackers. We know their players and they know us well. So it's always going to be a fun one, and we're excited for it.
Jeff and then Bo.
Carson, your fourth quarter numbers are significantly better than your numbers in the first 3 quarters. I guess some of us are looking into why that may be. Have you explored any reasoning behind that? And is there any truth to the theory that maybe when the offense isn't as scripted and you can be more the improvise more as we've seen you do before, that's when you're more productive?
To answer the latter part of that question, being able to improvise and go off schedule is a big part of what I do and what we do as a team, and maybe 2 minute brings that about more, certain situations. I'm not sure. But we're always talking about it. We're always talking about, being off schedule and guys getting open, creating plays downfield. And I've said it time and time again, there's a lot of big plays to be had in those moments. You're going to miss some opportunities, but always talk about walking that fine line of extending plays and pushing it and just throwing it away and taking the sacks. And so sometimes in those 2 minute moments or those late in the game situations, you're willing to try and extend and try and make the plays because you're down or you need to rally and do something. But as far as the rest, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think sometimes it just is the course of a game, and you start to figure out a defense. You start to understand. You make in-game adjustments and start playing quicker because you've seen the defense now for 3 quarters. You're able to read and react and make adjustments and play faster. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things.
Oh, and then Pat Allen.
Hey, Carson, for the first time in that Giants game, because of the personnel you had, we saw some 4 receiver sets from the offense. How much did you guys rep that in the summer, and is there anything you like about, spreading things out that way?
Yeah, quite frankly, we didn't rep it much at all. Obviously we knew the tight end situation that we had coming into the year, and we knew we were going to involve those guys heavily. And but that's the NFL, and that's the nature of the season is injuries happen, and you got to adjust, you got to make things happen on the fly. And I think with the receivers that we have, they've done a great job of knowing their assignments, both in the run game and the passing game, and being able to play multiple positions. And I think it's fun. I think it's exciting, and being able to still run the ball out of those sets and keep defenses honest is a big part of what we need to keep doing going forward.
Pat and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Carson, last year, North Dakota State won the FCS title game against James Madison. I'm guessing that you probably watched that game. And James Madison's quarterback was Ben DiNucci, who you'll see probably on Sunday. What do you know about him, first of all? And I know that you weren't thrust into action like mid-game, but I'm sure you remember what your feelings were going into your first start. So what was that whole process like that you remember?
Yeah, obviously watched that game, paid attention, but as far as what I've seen out of him, I watched the defense. You only got so much time in a week. You got to scout the defense. But, going into my first game, there's a lot of nerves, excitement, a lot of different emotions. And I know you said I wasn't necessarily thrust into a game, but I had about a week to prepare. I was thrust into it. So it was kind of fast, and it happened quickly. And at the end of the day, it's still just football. That's the exciting part. Things happen faster. Windows close quicker, D-line's faster, all those things. But at the end of the day, it's still football that, you've been playing since you were a kid. And you got to keep that in the front of your mind that it's still just a game and have fun with it.
Dave and then Zach.
Hey, Carson, in practice this week, you'll get a few pieces back, Goddard, Rager, Jason Peters. What's your excitement level like knowing that, you guys are going to get some injured players back either this week or after the bye?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. They're big parts, big pieces of our offense. Guys like you said, Peters and Rager, we saw what he could do early in the season and the explosiveness that he brings. Obviously, we know what Dallas can do both in the blocking game, but also run after catch and getting open. He's one of the top tight ends in the league. And so just knowing that we're getting some of those guys back, and Jason Peters has been doing it for a long time, whether it's this week or going forward, I think it definitely, energizes the offense, and guys are excited because of what we've been able to do and how we've been in a lot of these ball games, and we just keep adding some pieces back, and we're as confident as ever.
Zach and then Les.
Hey, Carson, on the topic of Jalen Rager, you mentioned we've seen some of the things he can do, but really it's been a limited sampling between what you had in training camp and then 2 games this season. How much more is there that Jalen can do, and does it change the dynamic of the offense if he's in there?
I think it can. I think it can change the dynamic. I think just what you can do with him in the screen game and down the field, and he's a guy that has run after catch ability. Obviously, it's been very limited, like you said. The sample size is very limited, both in the games and then in training camp. But we see it in practice. We see the explosiveness that he brings, and how he can change a game in a heartbeat. We saw it early in the Washington game on the 3rd and long play, and that's just the type of guy that he is, and we're excited to hopefully get him back this week, but if not, hopefully soon.
Les and then Martin.
Hi, Carson. So Jason Peters returning to practice, Jordan Mailata still healthy. Who would you rather have at left tackle?
Well, I don't make the decisions at the end of the day. I know that Jason Peters has been doing this for a long time, and he's been rock solid every time he's in there, and he's going to be, in my opinion, a future Hall of Famer, one of the best to do it. So, I've been very thoroughly impressed with Mailata and really all of these guys up front that have had to fill in and step in. But, as soon as JP's back and healthy, I'm sure he'll be ready to go, and nothing but confidence in whoever's out there.
Martin and then Damo.
Hey, Carson. Obviously, like the wide receiver position, probably maybe a month ago was considered weakness with so many guys being out, but is it kind of amazing to you how in that short of time it's now considered probably a strength?
To me, I never really considered it a weakness, just because I got to see what we had in practice. I got to see what we had in training camp. I think it was more just having time to work together and building that relationship, building that chemistry, and being able to do that in game situations has been extremely valuable for us to this point. And these relationships and the chemistry and the connection with these guys is just going to keep getting better. And so I never would have called it a weakness. I think I've been excited about the skill group that we have here is super talented, and they have a lot of ability out there. And so we just got to keep growing together, and we'll keep doing that.
Damo and then Kristen.
Yeah, Carson, a 2-part question on Greg Ward for you. One, what's he meant to you as a third down weapon this season? And secondly, what's he meant to those young receivers as far as helping them see what they don't quite see yet and understand what they don't understand?
Yeah, I think you really hit it on the head. Greg is, first of all, he's an awesome competitor. He's an awesome competitor that works his tail off, and he has ever since he came into the league. And I just love his story and how hard he's worked to get to this moment, and now he's really thriving at home in the slot there. And like you said, picking up third downs, over and over, and just his he catches everything. He'll compete. He might, be undersized on some of these throws, but he'll compete and he'll catch most of the balls thrown his way. But then, like you mentioned, helping some of these younger guys understand the game and get lined up, and just the communication that he brings, and the mindset of a quarterback that he played in college, that he understands the game differently, and he's done a great job of educating these guys and really helping